Hi, I'm Dr. Duffy, and this is Sophie, who's been barking. She's a barker, and I usually have to hold her, but today she's actually a prop because she illustrates one way that people get unwanted attention, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. When our daughters found out that my wife and I were writing a book, a guidebook for college students, they insisted we write about discouraging unwanted attention. Um, if you want to see more resources that we consulted that I mentioned, you can find them in the free PDF of this book. It's on the Georgia College website in the Counseling Center section. This video represents suggestions about what to do and say that were combined from a large number of people. First, though, I want to talk about stalking. I need to say that if you find yourself being stalked, consult with your community professionals and authorities because each case is quite unique. What might work for one doesn't work for another. Your resident advisor may have been briefed on the procedures you might follow. You could also Google the Stalking Resource Center. Now, unwanted attention comes in several different situations and it warrants your concern. On his website, Be Irresistible, in an article entitled How to Handle Unwanted Attention from the Wrong Guy, James Bauer suggests that when creeps are around, you should keep friends close and make brutal honesty and strong boundaries your policy. If the person doesn't respect your verbal request, pick any guy standing nearby and ask him to intervene on your behalf. James Bauer also suggested that if you notice a guy you're not attracted to looking at you, then avoid making contact from the very beginning. Deliberately look away or down. Turn your body away from him. For guys who are undeterred and approach you anyway, you've got to shut them down quickly. Be polite but firm. Insistently firm. When telling them you don't want to date them, doesn't stop them, consider implying you're already partnered. Besides not being true, this has some other drawbacks. It could be taken to mean that you might otherwise be interested. It also might be a complication if you want others around there to see you as available. Sometimes a situation gets worse quickly. Aggressors may be getting into your physical space. You need to size up how intoxicated, impulsive, irrational, or assaultive they may be. Trust that creepy feeling or discomfort in your stomach. If pursuers of these risk factors for violence, you need to get away from them and quickly leave the scene with friends. Don't leave alone since they may follow you. You need to leave them with no explanation. You don't need to give them an explanation or any information about yourself. If you have to say something short and non-revealing, then say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Please don't assume they're going to act rationally. You don't need a reason to leave, and you don't owe them an explanation. If things are getting out of hand and you're inappropriately touched, then you have to be more drastic. In that kind of case, if you have enough people around you in public, exclaim your disgust at being touched. See, she's disclaiming her disgust. Describe what they just did to the crowd, then move away immediately while the crowd shames them, and then you leave with friends. Now, there are some bars that have something called a bad date code. Um, Tell them by asking for an angel shot or is angel working tonight, and then the staff will know that you need help. Bartenders will call you a cab, even maybe sneak you out. Uh, Ask the bartender in advance about this procedure in the code word, and if haven't thought about asking them, then just get eye contact with them and signal your distress. Aww. If you can't avoid being in the same room, ignore them. Keep a look on your face like you just smelled a skunk. Stay occupied on an activity like reading the program, reading the menu. Even if there's nothing to do, look preoccupied with your attention obviously elsewhere. Have a quiet conversation with friends. Keep your body turned away when possible. Walk quickly away as soon as you can. Survey the room and stay out of the line of sight by putting yourself next to taller people or furnishings. Don't become a sitting duck by sitting down. Make sure you're not between you and the exit, or them and the exit, so you don't have to walk past them. If you're in a situation in which you have to interact, show no interest in what they say. Don't initiate conversation. If you must say something, make short statements in response that are ordinary, superficial, and offer no opening for them to continue the conversation. Use that cold tone of voice that you save for irritating telephone sales associates that you want off the phone. If they start to get pushy, be clear, but stop just short of being mean to avoid giving them a story to tell. All these maneuvers work better when you have friends around whom you strategize with before the occasion. They can be free on your signal to phone you from across the room or grab you to go to the bathroom with them. Sometimes the person coming on to you lives around you, so you got to avoid bumping into them or other creepy neighbors, and that might mean uh, changing your routine, leaving early, taking the long way around, dropping common friends, walking places in groups, wearing clothing that helps you blend in with the group, or eating at different restaurants. If you must walk alone, walk briskly. Keep your distance from others. Wear earbuds, have an expressionless face, and look around only enough to be safe while avoiding catching anyone's eye. Tell anyone who approaches you that you have to get somewhere else, preferably using a second language that you know, but they likely don't. Never look lost. Walk into a public place or women's room if you need to. These avoidant approaches have the advantage, of not risking that others see you as mean. There are times when simple conflict avoidance is not enough and you should notify someone. Your resident advisor may be an excellent place to start. When you do know the person coming on to you and you think they're sweet but uninteresting, then being kind is a dilemma. You know what it's like to yourself feel rejected and you'd like to be kind, but being kind may be taken the wrong way. They may think you're ambivalent and they just need to redouble their efforts. They may not hear what you're saying because they're too self centered in their self consciousness about being rejected. They may assume your continued kindness and tone of voice is saying one thing and your words another. They may be in denial about their own shortcomings and disbelief about your rejection. Your ambivalence opens the door for them to ask questions about what they can do differently to change your mind, what they did wrong, and other things. If your initial rejecting statement is confident, clear, firm, and has no wiggle words to leave doubt, you may help them get over it more quickly. You want to get in? While you don't need to point out their faults, you aren't responsible for making it a teaching moment for them either. If a close friend is starting to show unwanted interest in you, it can even be harder to be clear. If you think they're sensitive and together enough to get what you're saying the first time, you might comment about how much you enjoy just being platonic friends. See, she's searching for the exit, and she was very clear with me. She didn't want to be here. So, uh, if you can even ask him for advice, dating advice about some other guy that you're interested in who's really different from them. If your close friend doesn't get it, maybe they have some problems with their thinking, then you're going to need to think about ending the friendship and all contact. If they don't seem to be taking your wishes seriously for the relationship not to be romantic, you need to be firm in stating those wishes and then consider the need to be kind by not dragging the relationship on despite there being a good friend. Now, breaking up with someone you've been dating is in many ways quite different from the situations we've just described and may call for different responses, even though some of the avoidance behaviors might still be useful. Well, I'm going to take care of Sophie here. You be safe out there, okay?